All right, today we're looking at greatest common factor, or just simply the GCF, and difference of squares in polynomials. All right, so here's what we got first off. Factor completely. We're factoring these polynomials completely. And so if you notice here, I've got, this is a binomial now because we've got two terms, and see it's separated by this minus right here, okay? So we got us a binomial. We want to factor it completely. So what we do is we look in each factor and see what they both have in common. So it's called the greatest common factor. It's the greatest number that's common factor for each term. So if you look at my 6 and my 9, what number is the greatest number that goes into both the 6 and 9? Well, I think a 3. 3 is the biggest number that goes into both of them. Now, I look at my variables. See, they both have an x. All right, what's the greatest number of x's that they both have? Well, this has 4 and this has 2. Well, they both have 2. So x2 is my greatest common factor. Now, when you do variables, it's actually the lowest power. That's the greatest. The lowest is the greatest, if that makes sense. If I look at my y's, see my y's, they both have 3. 3 is the lowest, so y to the 3 is what they both have. And so this right here is my greatest common factor right there. All right, now I got to factor it out. So put these parentheses, and when I factor that out, what do I have in here left? So basically, I just divide. 6 divided by 3 would be 2 for this first term. Then I got x4. Well, I'm dividing out x2, so if I just, when I divide those, I just subtract exponents. So 4 minus 2 would be 2, so x2. And then when I do my y's, y to the 3 divided by y3, well, I just subtract exponents, so it would just be y0, so that just goes away. Then I have the minus. And now I go to this one. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X squared divided by x squared, well, 2 minus 2 is 0, goes away. Y to the 5 divided by y to the 3. 5 minus 3 is 2, that'd be y squared. And here's my answer, factored completely right there. Okay, there's more of these. Okay, let's go to this one. All right, 10 and 4. So I'm going to find the greatest common factor of 10 and 4. So it looks like 2. 2 is the greatest number that goes into both of those. Usually what I do is I start with this smaller one. I find numbers that go into it, and then I try and see if it goes into the bigger one. But 2 is the biggest. Now my x's, look here, x2, x5, x2 is smallest. Y's, y4, y3, y3 is the smallest. There you go, that's my greatest common factor. So again, x2 is my greatest common factor because they both have 2, and that's the greatest that they have. So actually the greatest is the lowest exponent. Y's, they both have 3. This has 4, but that has 3. So y3 is the greatest that they both have. Okay? Now I divide that out. 10 in this first term, doing this one, 10 divided by 2 is 5. When I divide my x's, x squared divided by x squared, 2 minus 2 is 0, so it goes away. Y4 divided by y3, 4 minus 3 is 1, so I got y to the 1 left over. Then I've got a minus here. Now I do the second term here. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I got x5, I'm dividing out x squared, so 5 minus 2 would be 3. It'd be x3. I'm going to do my y's, y to the third divided by y to the third. Well, 3 minus 3 is 0, and it just cancels out. And so there's my answer right there. Okay. All right, let's go to number 3 here. We'll go green this time. It's 14 and 7. 7 goes in both of those. If I look at my x's, the lowest is x3. Look at my y's, the lowest is y4. There's my greatest common factor. 14 divided by 7 is 2. When I divide my x's, x5 divided by x3, 5 minus 3 is 2, x2. When I divide my y's, y4 divided by y4, 4 minus 4 is 0, so that goes away, plus. Now 7 divided by 7, I'm doing this one now. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so I have a 1 here. I'm not going to write it because I probably have variables. I'll write it if I don't have any variables. When I divide my x's, x3 divided by x3, 3 minus 3 is 0, so I have no x's. And then when I do my y's, y5 divided by y4, 5 minus 4 is 1. So that's just a y. So I really don't have to have the 1 here, but if you put it, it's okay. The answer won't show it though on the program. Number 4. Okay. All right, let's see, you got 15 and 10. The greatest common factor of that's 5. All right, now look, here's 3 variables. So I got x's, all right, x3 is the lowest. On y's, y2 is the lowest. On z's, just got the plain z, he's the lowest. Okay, so there's my greatest common factor. All right, 15, I'm going to do this one. 15 divided by 5 is 3. When I do my x's, 6 minus 3 is 3. When I do my y's, the y is 0, and the z is 0. So there's my first term, minus. Now I'm going to do this one. 10 divided by 5 is 2. When I do my x's, they 0 out. The y's, they'd be y3. So here, 5 minus 2 would be 3. Then when I do my z's, I'm going to have z2 because, see, I got 3 here and I only got 1 there. 3 minus 1 will be z2. And so there's my answer right there. Okay, now the last one of these type. This has 3 terms. We're going to go purple this time. So I have to look at all 3. 18, 12, and 24. All right, 6 is the greatest number. It goes in all 3 of those. All right, then look at my x's. The lowest x's is right here, x1. Then my y's, the lowest y's is y2. There's my greatest common factor. Now I divide it out. So 18 divided by 6 is a 3. When I do my x's, x5 divided by x will be x4. 5 minus 1 is 4. When I do my y's, they 0 out. Minus. Now this term here. 12 divided by 6 is 2. x5 divided by x will be x4. Just subtract the exponents. y3 divided by y2 will be y. 3 minus 2 is 1. Plus. Now the last one. 24 divided by 6 is 4. When I divide my x's, they 0 out. When I divide my y's, they 0 out. So it's just a plain 4. And there's my answer there. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to go to is difference of squares. Now, if you see this right here, I got x squared minus 9. Let me write it bigger. X squared minus 9. What I have here is I've got a difference. See, this is a difference because I'm subtracting of squares. This is a square. This is x squared. And this is a square. This is actually 3 squared, which is 9. This is what we call a difference of squares. And a difference of squares. All right, when I factor that, I get the square roots of these. So the square root of x squared would be x. So my first number would be x in both. The second term, 9, the square root of 9 is 3. I have a 3 in the second term. And then one's plus and one's minus, and there's my factors right there. Okay? If you do, now you don't have to do this, but you can always do a multiplication box. Oops, it's supposed to be minus. And so you get x squared, this is 3x, this is negative 3x, and this is a negative 9. And see, these cancel. So it's x squared minus 9. You could do that to see if you get the original answer here, the original question. But all right, so look at this next one. That's a square and this is a square. This is 4x squared. See, the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 49 is 7. So I can make out my 2 factors. I've got 4x and 4x. See, 4x times 4x is 16x squared. And then 49 would be 7. One's plus and one's minus. Okay, it doesn't matter if you put the plus one first or the minus one first. It really don't matter. But that's what we're doing here. Look at number 8 here. 9x squared and 25. These are squares. 9x, the square root of 9 is 3. And then, of course, I got x. 25, the square root of that's 5. I got 5 and 5. One's plus, one's minus. So this difference of squares is really simple. So you should just breeze right through this. This next one, 81x squared, this is 9 squared, this is x squared. So when I do this, 9x and 9x. 36, now that's 6 times 6. One's plus, one's minus. And then this last one I'm going to do, okay, 121, now that's 11 squared. So I've got 11x, 11x. I've got a 4, 2 times 2. One's plus, one's minus. And that's how you do the difference of squares. So there we go, guys. We got the greatest common factor and difference of squares. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'll help you all I can. Have a good rest of the day.